I got a confession to make to you guys. I feel like an idiot because I've been riding August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Been riding for 8 months and I haven't figured this out. But I can hang my helmet on these little things. And I always got frustrated with these things because they took up room in my little trunk here. But I finally figured out, you go loop your D-ring over there and hang. I feel like such an idiot. Such an idiot. This week I want to take a minute and just kind of talk about skill level, I guess. Now, if you guys watch motovlogging in general, then you're probably aware that one of the more popular motovloggers was in an accident recently. Now, I'm not going to talk about that guy specifically because I don't want to be accused of trying to use his misfortune as to build up viewership and whatnot. I'm not trying to exploit his tragedy, but I do want to comment on the situation itself. Now, there is video footage of what had happened, and all right, you'll have to excuse me because I'm going to talk during this little stoplight break or traffic whatevers. That's my boy. I don't want to use his misfortune to build up any kind of viewership or anything, but I do want to speak to that specific incident. Now when we ride motorcycles, especially sport bikes were made to go fast. Sport bikes were made to have fun, speed and all that good stuff. But what's important is that you understand what your skill level is and where you're at, and not ride above that. Because when you get outside your skill set, way outside your skill set, you end up hurt. And now I'm not saying this guy was riding outside of his skill set or anything, but he definitely made a mistake that he should not have made. He made a choice to do something that he shouldn't have. Now, motorcycles in general are safe to ride, and I've talked about this before. In comparison to driving cars, the accidents are much less frequent. However, when you're in an accident on a motorcycle, the injuries are a lot higher. I mean, you get in a wreck in a car, you might have a bruise from the seatbelt, you might have some superficial injuries from the airbag blowing. You might have a broken bone or something, soreness, stiffness, whatever. But that's almost pretty much guaranteed that you're going to break something, injure something, hurt yourself pretty badly on a motorcycle. Even if you have the best helmet in the world, you're probably going to get a concussion. Just because hitting your head is like one of the first things that happens. It's important to recognize what your skills are and ride within those skills. Now, the only way to get better at certain things is to ride just outside of that, your skill set. You got to build things. You're not going to get better at wheelies if you don't work on wheelies. You're not going to get better at turns if you don't work on your turns. But you've got to do them in a responsible manner. You've got to do them in a way that builds your skill set without putting you into harm's way. So you can work at building your skill set without putting anybody or yourself in danger. What needs to happen is you've got to work in an area where you are safe. Public roads aren't really the place to do wheelies, and I'm guilty of that. I've done wheelies. It's the only place I really have. But when I do them, nah, I'm lying again. I try to do them in spots that I know aren't populated, or there aren't, I try to be aware of what's going on, so that way I'm not, going to crash into somebody that runs through the intersection or anything to that effect. But you got to stay within your skill set. And if you want to build that skill set, then you've got to find a place to make that work. Public roads just generally aren't good. I mean, there's so many obstacles. Like, if you guys watch, I'm going to link Freerider 1959's video. Gravel, barrels, curbs, traffic. These are all things that really work against you, but we've become kind of blind to what's going on just because we're used to riding in this environment. You know, the best place to practice this stuff is on a track, a closed circuit, safe track that doesn't have any gravel on it. It's kept up well. There's no issues of, you know, it minimizes the risks and the injuries involved if you do dump your bike. You know, if you high slide in a turn on a track, you're gonna land in some sort of, hopefully, you know, you'll hit the ground, you might get a concussion that might end your day, but overall, you know, you got to mitigate those risks. And see, like, this guy comes out, this guy's over in his lane, there's all kinds of crap on the road, so you got to be aware. And you definitely, if you're going to push it on the public streets, then you've got to make sure that there's no one else involved, because the worst thing you want to do, I mean, you don't want to hurt yourself, but you sure as heck don't want to hurt somebody else in the process. You know, this particular guy, his mistake was that he crossed over a double yellow in order to, I don't know why, I don't know the reasoning behind it, but he crossed over in a blind turn, hit somebody head on, and got some severe injuries. I don't know the extent. Had it been a bigger car that he had hit, he would have died. He would have died. But as it is, he's got a long road to recovery ahead of him. So, and I'll pick this up when I'm done with my appointment, but the point is, guys, stay within your skill set. Don't push it in a situation that you can't control. Now, the MotoVlogger that I was talking about, I can't say whether or not he was riding within his skill set. He seems to be a fairly good rider, but he went into the other lane, which if he's actually a good rider, then he would know not to do that. Or I don't know what was going on through his mind, but to me, cutting across in another lane is not something that should be done. If you want to mitigate the risks, increase the safety of your rides, then you got to be smart. You got to, you know, you can push your limits, but you've got to do it in a way that is not going to put you in harm's way. Like, I could do a wheelie here, but the road's not good for it. The traffic's not good for it. We've got cross streets. You know, you got to be mindful of what's going on. Staying within the speed limit. No one wants to do that. Everybody wants to go fast. It doesn't matter if you have a car or motorcycle, sport bike, cruiser. Everybody wants to push the limits a little bit. Like, the speed limit is never quite fast enough, right? So you know, everybody wants to push the limits, but we've got to be smart. We've got to be aware of what's going on. And there's just some things that should never happen. You should never cross that double line, because that double line's there for a reason, because you can't see. It's a blind turn, or it's a blind hill, or something like that. Or it's just a safety thing. Like right here, this double line's not, you can see everything that's going to happen, but it's to keep people from going where they shouldn't go. But so that, you know, just to wrap that all meandering whatever, is just say, you know, ride within your skill set, be smart about how you ride, and if you're going to push the limits, do it in a way that keeps you relatively safe and keeps others from having to ruin your day and thereby ruining their day. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys, last week I talked about having the shirts, and I've got some shirt designs uploaded. 2 of them are specific to motorcycling. The one is the 2-wheel therapy that I think you guys saw, and then the other one is up. I actually put it up today, Wednesday, the day after the video went live, and it's the sport bike version is up, and I'm going to work on the dirt bike version, but it's basically a coat of arms that says legalize wheelies, and I'll put it up on the screen for you so you can check it out. I think it's a really good design. I think it's going to take off once enough people see it. I think I've got it, it's gonna be on the back of the shirt, so that way when you ride, you show it off to everybody. Now, I've also got some, I also uploaded this morning some Ginja Ninja Man shirts. It's got the big logo like what you see down in that corner, wherever the corner is. I've got that logo real big on the back, and then I have just the head with Ginja Ninja Man on the pocket itself. So that way, you guys can rep me, rep my brand. And don't forget, also we've got Ginja Ninja Man key tags that you can get, along with custom key tags that you might want to get. I don't know. It's all up to you. I'm trying to make that money, and I'm trying to make it in a way that is pleasing to my subscribers and my friends and all those people that just love stuff. I don't know. Is that the right way to put that? Anyway, I got stuff for you guys. Support me. I'm not big enough to have a Patreon. I'm not big enough to beg for money. But hey, I'm offering something for you. Don't forget, hit that like button for the video. Hit that subscribe button. Be sure to share this with your friends. Show them how cool you think I am, even though I'm not really that cool. So, yeah. Anyway.